Okay, hello everyone. I'm Yasmine. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with us today to discover our top 23 features. This presentation and everything that we share with you today will be shared after the call, so don't worry, you can take notes if you want, but everything will be shared, including the recording. Okay, let's get started. Perfect. So as I mentioned, welcome everyone. This is our second Padlet Academy session. We just did one last week. I think some of you are joining as well and joined last week. This session will focus on our new features. We've been working very hard last year to produce a lot of new features. So we're going to have a look together at what are the most interesting ones. Let me introduce myself. So I'm Yasmine. I will guide you through the session today. Lots of new features that we're going to introduce. So this session will be collaborative. There will be some activities along the way where I ask you to come onto the Padlet and perform some tasks. Tosh will share the link to the Padlet in the chat when it's time for us to collaborate together. Little fun fact about me, I've been to all the oceans. I really like to look at the sunset on the beach, and I'm also a teacher. I teach French as a second language, so I really love linguistics. So if you have any questions on that, happy to discuss that after the call. And I'll let Tosh introduce himself as well.
Hey everyone, my name's Tosh. I'm here on Padlet support team. I've been here for about 3 years now, so if you guys are emailing into support, that's could be me that's replying to you. So I'm here to just help out with any questions you have. Please put questions in the Q&A part of this webinar and put any comments you might have in the comments, but questions in the Q&A. So I'll be happy to help out with that. Fun fact about me, I have 2 cats and I play a lot of golf. So back to you, Yasmine. Excited to get this underway. Like I said, if you have any questions, just put them in the Q&A and I'll be happy to help.
Thank you so much, Tosh. Okay, let's get started. So what's our agenda for today? To make it a bit more fun and a bit more practical, we've decided to merge the different features in categories. The first one will be how to be more organized with our new features and Padlet in general. The second section will be about how to collaborate more easily. The third section will be how to do more with Padlet. There are a lot of features that just make your experience a bit easier and more productive. And at the end, we'll also talk about features that are school exclusives. We do have a school subscription, and these some features have been added to our school subscription. Okay, let's go ahead and start with our first category, be more organized. For this activity, I've created a Padlet on how to plan a project. Let's open it together. Great. Okay, so on this Padlet, I've already added a lot of different attachments and posts. This is a project planner for a conference that we do in the US called ISTE that will be happening in Denver this year. And I want to just get prepared for the conference, add some of my colleagues as well, and just plan a bit of that conference together. The first feature that I want to introduce is how to make this Padlet a bit more organized and structured. From the settings panel to the right, I'm going to open it. And if I scroll down, I will have group posts by section. That is a very handy tool because it allows you to create different columns, different sections where you can put your posts. Let's go back and perhaps let's create a few more sections. Let's create one section for important resources. I also like to track the progress of my tasks in my project. So let's do in progress, and let's do another one for completed. I'm also planning to meet with my team or my colleagues during this project planning. So let's put a category for meetings, and I'm going to ask them some feedback as well that you will actually interact with. So let's create a section for feedback. You have an easy way to drag any of the posts into the right category. So let's do this together. All members review conference guide, that's in progress. Let's put all the meetings in the meeting category. Let's put this as completed, meeting 3. This is in progress. I'll just do this a bit quickly. Review conference schedule, that's done. Set specific goals, in progress, and book plane tickets, that's done. Perfect. The date is a very important resource. I also have a conference overview, a planning guide as a PDF, a conference map, a floor plan for when we do attend the conference, and a feedback Padlet. Great. I can now delete this section. Delete. Perfect. Note that if you delete a section, all the posts in that section will also be deleted. So be mindful to just transfer the post to another section if you want to keep them. And to rename your section, you can just double click on the name and then type something else. Perfect. To add another section, you can click on Add Section, which is usually located to the right of your Padlet, depending on the format. Okay, my Padlet looks a lot better now. A second feature that I want to show you is how to pin posts. So sometimes I might sort my Padlet in different ways, and we'll talk about our new sorting options in just a second. But I want to have one post that always stays at the top, no matter what sorting I have decided. To pin a post, you can hover above the top right corner of the post and click on the three dots. And if you scroll all the way to the last section, you'll have pin post. You will see that your post is pinned as it says pin just above the post. You can pin as many posts as you want. I would usually recommend to pin 1 or 2 at the top of the section. Perfect. What we can also do, that is not a new feature, but just a good touch for Project Planner, is add colors. Let's add yellow for the tasks that are in progress. And let's add green for the tasks that are completed. Great. This takes me to my next new feature, which is our improved search and sort options. If you look at the top right, where you have the magnifying glass, this is where you can actually search within a Padlet. You can search either with a keyword. Let's do flight. Oh, plane, I think is what I put. Here we go, book plane tickets. You can also not put any words, but sort by color. So this is really handy, especially if you have a lot of tasks that are in different sections and have the same color, or if you're a teacher, that also applies, for example, if you're doing an activity versus a lesson guide versus an assignment, you can use colors to code and sort the posts. And then from the search panel, you can search for that specific post, that specific color, or even the author. I'm the only author on this Padlet, so you can only see me, but if you had anyone interact on your Padlet, you would be able to sort by their name as well, or just clicking on their profile. Okay, great. 2 more features that are extremely useful is one, drafts and scheduling posts. If you look at my meetings section, I have 5 meetings, and because we are not yet sure of the meeting 4 and the meeting 5, I've just scheduled it for now. So let's have a look together how to do that. Let's create a new post, and at the top right, just to the left of publish, I now have a little clock. If I click on the clock, I can decide when the post will be aired on my Padlet, will appear for everyone else. So let's do a test. I love meetings, so let's schedule meeting 6. That will happen a month after the last one. And let's click on schedule post. Let's say that I want it to be on the same date as the meeting and set date. Just so you know, you can schedule posts up to 1 year in advance. So you can imagine applications for this if you have a lesson guide or you plan for a whole semester, if you're a teacher, and you want all the information to appear at a certain date. You don't want to have to remember to put any posts. That's really useful. Same if you work with a team or even in your personal life, if you're planning any type of projects or events, this is a great way to get everything set up. You don't have to think about it anymore, and you can just have it appear whenever you want. Let's also have a look at the bottom of the post. You can choose what section a post will appear in, also directly from the picker right here. Let's go with meetings and schedule. Okay, my post is right here. I can see it However, no one else can until it's published. If I want to remove the scheduled post and post it right away, no problem. Let's click on edit. Let's click on the date and remove. Publish. You can now see the difference between the August 10 at 5:33 versus the latest post. It doesn't really have a time, so it's not scheduled. It's actually on my Padlet. Perfect. Another way to get a lot of content on the Padlet, even before publishing it, would be drafts. So if I open a Padlet and I want to say, for example, what do you think, or have you attended ISTE before? And I'm not sure if I want to post this. Maybe I want to add some things here, more to be added to indicate that I'm not ready to post it. I can simply minimize the post and it now appears as a draft. I can create as many drafts as I want. Let's do another one. Let's call it another draft just to be quick. And I can now publish all the drafts. I can delete all the drafts. I can come back to a specific one and minimize it again. And if I reload this page, you see that my drafts are still here. So you can put some drafts, come back a few days later, your information is still here. Okay, let's go ahead and delete the drafts. Perfect. Great. The last feature that I want to show you on this specific use case is our new sorting options. Let's go into the settings of the Padlet and let's scroll down to the sort by. You have a few new options. You can drag and drop, which is what I have been doing so far in this Padlet. You can sort by the reaction type. To edit the reaction, you can go into reaction and let's say, for example, star, save. If I go back into the sort, this will now be one of the options. I can do by date published. If you want to have a chronological Padlet, that would be a great way. You can also do it alphabetically by the subject of the post, so A through Z, that will be sorted alphabetically, or you can even randomize it. If you have a lot of different ideas brainstorming, but you want them to be randomized, or as a teacher, again, if you're doing a language lesson and you want to just learn new words, you can randomize them as well. My favorite is by reaction type, because I can ask people to vote or give their opinion, and then it can be sorted by that reaction. So for example, if I'm very happy that we created the conference itinerary, I can vote on it. Here we go, to the top. Perfect. Just to show you how the pin post would not be affected by that, let's rate this one. Perfect. It's now the second post, but it will not go above the pin post. It will stay pinned. Great. Okay, time for us to do some activities together. In the last section of this Padlet, you can see that I have feedback, and I want you to tell me about a conference that you've attended and something you loved about it. So after I share this Padlet, I want you to click on the link that is within that post. We'll open the Padlet, and you will see just a posting option. You don't have access to the Padlet itself. You just see what you have to post. So what is the name of the conference? For example, I attended Georgia Tech not that long ago, and this is not very conference related, but I loved the food trucks. So I hope that this conference will have food trucks as well. Publish. Perfect. Okay. Tosh, would you mind now sharing the link to this Padlet in the chat? As I mentioned, just go to the feedback section, click on the Padlet submission request, and tell me about a conference that you've attended and what you liked about it. You can find the link in the chat. In case some people have not noticed in the past, when people are on your Padlet, you can see it from the top. At the very top right here, I can see 4 people are on the Padlet. While everyone is posting, let me just go to my dashboard and open the Padlet itself. Perfect, and we'll have a look in a second. Perfect, so I see some people liked the nice open space area, learning solutions, the International Literary Conference, that's really interesting, UCET, learning about ways to use technology in the classroom, amazing. Great. So I'll let you guys keep posting on the Padlet, but For people that have already posted, back to the Padlet that we shared, I'm going to add the Padlet itself right here. So if you want, at the very bottom, let me pin it at the top. If you want to see the results, let's see, our favorite conferences. If you want to access what everyone has posted after you've submitted your opinion, you can click at the very top. Let me put it in purple just to make it more visible. Perfect. Loving this Padlet, lots of collaboration already. Great. Okay, you can finish your post, but I'll just move on to the next activity. Back to the slideshow to summarize, what features have we seen in this planning a project Padlet? Sections, how to make your Padlet more organized, how to pin a post, how to use the search and filters by colors, by author, by date, how to make and create drafts and how they automatically save, how to schedule posts up to 1 year in advance, and finally, how to sort posts, either by reaction, alphabetically, etc. Okay, let's go to our next activity, and this time it will be even more collaborative. For this section, I've created a Padlet for classroom participation and engagement. Let me just explain the structure of this Padlet. I've decided on 3 activities that would be a great way for me to interact with my students. This is a great example in the education setting, but you can also use this with your team, with your family. It's just a space so that we can all collect information together, give each other opinions, and just, have fun. Okay, we have 3 sections in this Padlet. You can see the format changed a tiny bit. This is the grid format. So we have first birthday wishes, weekly polls, and suggestion box. Let's go with the first activity, birthday wishes. What I want you to do on this Padlet is create a little avatar, an image that represents you on your birthday. You can see 3 examples. Lola loves dogs and ice cream. Jason likes pizza and reading. And Miss Kinney likes her students and balloons. Perfect. Okay, so what I want you to do on this Padlet is open a post in the birthday wishes, and I want you to add a post using I can't draw. I'm gonna add my own. So my name is Yasmine. I love cats and the beach. It's my birthday. This feature uses AI to generate any type of images, any types of visuals. This is great if you're doing a language lesson and you want to have the dialogue pictures, or if you want students to create a little avatar to introduce themselves. So I see some people are on the Padlet already. Please go into the birthday wishes section, use I Can't Draw from the attachment picker, and generate an image. I actually like this funky one. I will be a cat for my birthday. Perfect. And let's say happy birthday, Yasmine. And you can also add date of your birthday. This way you can all wish it to me. Great. Perfect. So just in case you need the steps one more time, you can go into the plus button or click on the plus button in the section that you want. And from the attachment picker, you can choose I Can't Draw. The description on I Can Draw can be as vague or as specific as possible. I'll just leave it up to you. While everyone is posting, let's add some reaction type. Let's add a like reaction. And let's also, comments are already enabled. Perfect. So you can also interact with each other's posts, ask for each other's birthday, comment on the visual that each other created, whichever you want, but the collaboration is open. Perfect. Ooh, I see we have a GIF as well. You're welcome to use the GIF option. Perfect. Lots of amazing pictures. I really like these two, which are a very similar theme. That's kind of winter sports. I'm French, so I have to really like the Eiffel Tower. Perfect. Okay, feel free to keep on posting for your birthday. This Padlet is not going anywhere. I'll just move on to the next activity we can do together. And this enables me to introduce polls. Let me just move a few of these right here. Perfect. Okay, I can leave the other ones right here. But I have 3 polls in the weekly polls section. So this is also a new feature. You can now, from the attachment picker or directly in the section, you can create a post, and from the attachment picker, you can choose polls. Let's click on it together. I can ask a question, for example, are you team dog or team cat? Perfect. Let's do first team cat forever, team dog forever. And let's be a bit cheeky. Can I say both? Okay. And let's add this poll to my polls section. We have a few posts right here. Let me just pin it so you can see it at the top. And so what you can do with this second activity is in the weekly polls section, you can go and vote on any of the questions that I've asked. Once you vote, you can also see the results. So I'm personally team cat, so I'm going to vote on that. And once you voted, you can see the results. For now, team dog is winning. Both is actually in second place. I feel very bad for all the cat lovers. Please vote if you prefer cats. You can also vote for the other one. The second question I've asked is, which superpower would you rather have? Control the weather, teleportation, reading minds, or stopping time? I'd prefer teleportation or stopping time. I think I prefer to stop time because then I can go places in no time. Ooh, teleportation is winning. No one wants to control the weather. I get it. Team Dolphin forever from the first poll. I like that idea. I like that idea. Don't hesitate to create other polls if you want. We can make this a very heavy poll section and ask about anything. Okay, what's your favorite meal of the day? I usually have dinner more than I have the other two. So let's click on that. People agree for now. And the last one is, how do you prefer to learn? I think that's a really important question in education or outside of education. I personally like to do it myself. Majority of people agree. Great. Okay, feel free to keep on playing with the polls. I'll just go to the last section that we have on this Padlet. And this is called suggestion box. And this is where I want to introduce one of my favorite new feature, extremely useful for teachers, but for anyone really that wants to gather feedback. Remember the Padlet that we did on the project planner? I use a suggestion, a submission request link to ask you what conference you attended. This is very similar. If I want, I can click on, is there any activity that you'd like to do more in the class? Click on this link and I'm taken to a Padlet, but it doesn't exactly look like a Padlet. It just looks like I can post on the Padlet, but maybe not have access to the rest. So what this does, if we go back to the class participation, is actually from the share panel. You can either click on links or just scroll a tiny bit. That's the second paragraph. You will now see submission request links. If I click on it, it should not be enabled. Let me enable it so you can see how to do it. Here you go. And then you can decide, once people have posted, what will they see? Will they see the confirmation page? Will the Padlet open? Or will they have to add another post? You can also customize the message that they will see once they've added a post. This is a great way to have people come to your Padlet, add something, but not necessarily be influenced or have access to other people's posts before they submit their own. This can be used, for example, for suggestion box, feedback, exit logs, or even assignments. If you want anyone to submit something anonymously or without seeing other people's work, that would be a great way. If you've noticed, when you go to my suggestion box, is there an activity we should do more? You see that the posting option is a bit more limited than it usually is. You only have access to one attachment, and you also see a prompt as the subject and as the body. This is one of our new feature as well, called post fields. So if we go back to my Padlet, the class engagement, now let's go into the Padlet settings from the right panel. And let's scroll all the way to the bottom. In posts, you will see post fields. This is a great way to customize what the post option, what the post panel shows. You can decide what the title will say, what the subject of the post will say. For example, in the project planner, I asked you, what conference did you attend? You can choose what attachments are available. This is great if you want to force people or to guide people towards a specific attachment type. If you want them to take a picture of that garden, you can hide all except the camera. Perfect. And you can also customize what the body says. And you can add other posts fields. You can say, for example, tell me what makes you happy, and create. Let's go back to the post. You will now have a second line that says, tell me what makes you happy. So you can use this Padlet as kind of a form, or you can use the post field to customize it to be a form or to have specific questions. If you make a Padlet for each activities that you do, a language activity, a history activity, you could even use this for tests. Perfect. Last feature that I want to mention in this section is very similar to what I just mentioned with submission requests. It's called breakout links. This time, instead of giving access to another Padlet where you can add different content, I can give access to a specific section. So let's say that I wanted parents or families or my friends to have access only to the weekly polls. From the share panel, I will go just above submission request link and I will click on breakout links. I'll enable them and I can now copy the link to a specific section within my Padlet. Really liking the polls today. Let's copy that post, that link. Let's open it. And I now only have access to the poll section. Pretty neat. Great. Okay, let me go back to my presentation. Let's close a few tabs as well. Perfect. Okay, let's summarize together what features we saw in this activity, and then we'll take a short Q&A break. First, you can now make polls within a Padlet, and you can also vote on them in a Padlet presentation. You can enable breakout links to give access to a specific section of your Padlet. You can also mention people in both posts and comments, given that they've been on the Padlet. You can enable submission request links to gather feedback or to have people submit something on your Padlet without accessing the Padlet itself. And last, you can customize post fields to add different fields of text, of images, customize what attachments are available, etc. Perfect. Just before we go to do more with Padlet, let's break for a little Q&A session. Tosh, do we have any interesting questions?
Yeah, Erica has a good question in the Q&A here. Can you change the post field periodically for different prompts? And so that's something that you can most definitely do from the post field section, as Yasmine showed earlier. There's different ways to customize, whether you want to customize the subject or the attachment. The body is a great way to customize different things that you want to add in there. I was just playing with it a little bit. You can also add custom fields. So I think that might be a little bit more of what you're referring to, is being able to add in custom fields for different posts. So a lot of people do this. I've seen it done, each post can be a different, basically each Padlet can have a different custom field, and you can write in whatever you want, prompt people to however you want. So that is a good question. I see another question here from Susan. I use Padlet semester to semester. If I make a template, it does not save the photo wallpaper or the column titles. Is there a better way to do this? So if you mark the Padlet as a template, as Yasmine is showing here, that should save everything. If it doesn't, please email us at hello@padlet.com. There might be something going on there. We're happy to look into that more. Elizabeth has a good question. Can you determine the size of a post? Is it smaller, bigger? That's actually a new feature that we recently released. Yasmine, if you could just show how to do that really quickly. You can see post size. So we actually have two options. There's standard post size and there's wide post size. We're working on more ways to customize this even further. But for now, there's two options for standard and wide. Seeing a few more questions here. Is there possibility to need to send a password for a specific post? So that is actually a really good idea. We don't have that feature released yet. I think the closest thing would be a breakout link. What a breakout link does, and I believe Yasmine is planning on showing this, but what that will do is basically allow certain people to post on your Padlet, only having access to a section of the Padlet. So you could make a few different sections, and each section will have a breakout link that will only take people to be able to post on that section that you send them the link for. So that would be a good way to do that. More questions here. I have about 100 Padlets. Can I organize them by topics in a group? So there's quite a few ways to organize Padlets actually. Yasmine, if you could just go back to the Padlet dashboard, I think that would be the best way to show how to organize Padlets. From the bookmarks tab, that's how I like to organize Padlets. So all Padlets that you've created will show up in your all folder. But then if you want to kind of segment out Padlets for certain subjects, you can create folders within the bookmarks tab and just easily add Padlets to different folders. Now they won't this won't remove Padlets from the all folder, but if you've added all the Padlets to your bookmarks dashboard, you'll be able to just access Padlets through there through your folders. Cool. I think that is about it for the questions for now. If anyone has more though, feel free to put them in the chat or in the Q&A would be preferred.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tosh. Told you it's our support wizard. One small aspect that I also use to organize my Padlet that some of you could find useful. Let me show you a Padlet that I use a lot is this Padlet. So you can see that I've created sections and linked Padlets within my section. This is a link to a Padlet. This is a link to a Padlet. So what you could do is create sections based on the theme of the Padlets that you want to combine. And you can just create a new post, either drop the link, or you can just add a link with the attachment Padlet links. Okay, let's go back to our agenda. And let me go to do more with Padlet. Okay. Let's have a look together first at one of my favorite new feature that we have called templates. So we just mentioned it a few seconds ago, where you can make some of your Padlets templates. That's great. But what you can also do is access our own templates. So from the Make a Padlet button, which is at the top right, you have your own templates. but you now also have access to about 100 different templates. Some are more suitable for education, some are more for business, and some are more for personal life. You'll definitely find a couple that apply to however you use Padlet. Let's have a look together at how that works. Let's open the first one, this art showcase. Okay, this looks very similar to a blank Padlet, but you can tell that it's already personalized, and on the right panel, I now have actually a guide on how to create my Padlet. What I love about this is sometimes you tell yourself, okay, art showcase, I see how that could be created, but let me see an example. At the top of each templates, you will see a link to a full finished example of that use case. For example, we can see this one is about watercolors. We have a few pictures and some comments for collaboration. Let's go back to our template. You can also follow the directions. So personalize the title of your Padlet, give it a nice title like Creative Expressions with the settings panel. You can also generate a few posts just to see what it could look like. Whispers of the Wind, great. I can delete it as well. To share the Padlet, you all know usually that feature. You can open the share panel. And you want to see what your students would post on this Padlet. Let's generate a few examples. Perfect. Once you're done, click on Done. And this Padlet is now ready to be customized. You can either send it as is, but this is not a frozen Padlet. You can add anything, delete anything, remove comments, add comments. It's fully customizable. We had a question about the post size. This is a feature that I wanted to show you as well, just so that we all see it one more time. You can now decide if you want posts to be in the standard historical Padlet size, which is usually pretty small, or you can make them bigger, especially for an art showcase. That's a pretty use case. That's a pretty good use case. What you can do as well is if you go back to customizing the Padlet and you go into the canvas format, this format is very free form. I can move things around freely, but I can also make posts bigger or smaller. Perfect. Let's make this the biggest. Perfect. The next feature that I want to show you, which is also my favorite, let's go back to our project planner for this one, is what we call Padlet slideshow. From the right panel, you can see a little play button. Sometimes you're creating a project or you're creating a lesson plan, anything that you do on a Padlet, sometimes you just want to have a clean version of it that you can share with people. They cannot comment, they cannot edit your Padlet. That's what Padlet slideshow does. One click and my Padlet is now a presentation. All of the posts that I made will be a slide. Let's have a look together. If I have a picture, I will see it as an attachment. This is my favorite part. You can read through PDFs. So you can imagine applications in the classroom, but also for business meetings, or just if you're doing, let's say, a portfolio at home, you're into pottery this year, you can make a portfolio, add different documents. You'll be able to play them from the presentation. You can also play videos. And if I go back to my suggestion box at the very bottom, perfect, I can also open links. What I like about this as well is you can share the link to the presentation. You don't have to share your Padlet. You can only share the link to the presentation. You can also enable autoplay and decide how fast it should go and if it should loop the slides. If you only have pictures, I would also recommend downloading it as a PDF. You can embed it on your blog or website. If you have it as a loop, this could be a great introduction to whatever you're doing. You can share via another app, no problem. And you can also copy the link to share it. Perfect. Now, let's go back to the Padlet dashboard. I just created this new Padlet. What you can do to find Padlets is now use our improved search dashboard search options. Let's do art. I want to find this Padlet, but actually, I have a lot of Padlets about art. What this will do is it will look at the name of the Padlet, the title, but also any content that you have within. So if I do ISTE, I can find all the Padlets that have ISTE in the name of the title of the Padlet or just within this Padlet. Perfect. Now let's say that I wanted to delete this Padlet, but I now realize that this was a mistake and I want to restore it. We've now made it available from the dashboard. You can look at Padlets that you've deleted and restore them or permanently delete them. Perfect. Let's go back to our presentation. We've seen how to use templates. I would really recommend to play with a few of them, see how some can apply to you, look at the examples, get some inspiration, and go a bit outside of your Padlet comfort zone. We've seen how to make posts bigger or smaller. We've seen how to use slideshow to create presentation in one click. We've seen how to search for Padlets on the dashboard and how to restore recently deleted Padlets. Perfect. Now let's talk about our school exclusives. First, we just released as part of our school account what we call safety net. This is known as moderation for some of you that have been on Padlet for a while. What this will do is using artificial intelligence, it will look for any post that has inappropriate content, especially coming from students, and the post will be automatically flagged. So the teacher or the maker of the Padlet will see the post and will have to decide, do I approve this? Let's say you're working on the theme of violence in a productive way, you might want to approve the post or actually delete it. This is a great way to make sure that Padlet is collaborative, is a fun place for everybody, but it stays safe. The next, which is not really a feature, it's a new plan. We've had a school subscription for a while, but we didn't have a smaller version of it for a small group of teachers. So some of you might have a platinum individual subscription, which is great. For the same price that you are paying, you also get 100 student accounts. So the price that you see on this picture is 200 for 2 teachers and 200 students. You'll get some user management, some centralized billing. This could be great if you have a few teachers that would be interested in a small account to begin with, and maybe a school account later on. And that I kept the best for the end. Let's talk about Magic Padlet. From the picture, you can see that I can put a prompt, and if I click on create, it will generate a Padlet based on my prompt, add section, add images. Let's do it together. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And as a teacher, I have access to these 3 buttons, which are, just in case my camera is in the way, you can see the 3 green stars at the top right. And I will say I am a math teacher. Let's do it this way. I want a Padlet for a lesson on equations for my 8th graders. Let's say include the rule and important information, some activities, and a final assignment. Perfect. So I gave it a lot of requests. Let's create it. While it's conjuring, let me tell you a bit more about how that works. So usually it will generate the Padlet in under a minute. This is a great way for you, teachers specifically, as this is available to teachers at the moment, this is a great way for you to quickly generate a Padlet based on an idea that you have in your mind. You don't have to spend time customizing the Padlet, adding sections. This will already give you something you can work with. Now, I know there's been a lot of debates, especially in the educational space, about artificial intelligence. Is it a risk? Is it something that we should use? At Padlet, given that question, we've decided that Magic Padlet is only accessible to teachers in our school account. Students will not be able to use it. We've noted that teachers already use sometimes ChatGPT and copy and paste the text. This saves you a bit of time. And this is your intellectual property. The images on this Padlet right now are from our royalty-free bank. Okay, let's have a look. Let's use our white post again. And we can see some rules. It will for now only generate images and text, but that can already give you a few activities. Perfect. And again, going back to slideshow, I can present this during class. Perfect. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. Here we go. And I was on Magic Padlet. Now, let's actually pause for a few minutes just if, Tosh, do we have any questions in the chat?
Yeah, actually a few good questions. I'm seeing a few questions about copying sections, copying multiple posts at once. So we're working on building out more ways to copy more than one post at a time. We want to do a feature where we can just copy a section to a new Padlet. That I think will be coming out in 2024. So stay posted for that. For now, what I recommend, Yasmine, if you go to a Padlet and show people they can duplicate a post by clicking the three dots in the upper right-hand corner of the post and click duplicate post. This will allow you to duplicate this post and choose whether you want to duplicate it to the same Padlet or to a new Padlet, and then we'll have all the Padlets that you've created as options. That is good if you're duplicating just a few posts. If you want to duplicate, tons of posts at once, what might actually be better is if you just remake the Padlet. This will basically copy, you have the option to copy the design of the Padlet. You have the option to copy posts on the Padlet, copy people and privacy, meaning the same visitor permissions and privacy will be the same, and copy the authorship of the post. So this might be better if you're duplicating, tons of posts. Just duplicate the entire Padlet, copy everything over, and then delete what you want to remove. So working on better ways for that. Looks like Christina has a question here in the chat about removing a collaborator on a Padlet. That's actually really easy. So all you have to do is just go to the share arrow on the top right, and you'll see in the collaborator section, Yasmine can add me, maybe just type in Go Ducks. That's my username. So if you invite me to the Padlet, yeah, just click invite there, and I would accept that. Then in this menu, you'll see what I have the options to do. If you click on the moderator menu there, what you can just do is press remove collaborator, and your collaborator will be removed from the Padlet. So very easy to do that. Let's see, we had a question a little bit earlier about let's see, what was that question about? That question was about creating a template and use a template for each week. So that's actually really easy to do. You can just mark a Padlet as a template. So Yasmin can show how to do that from the three dots. Mark Padlet as template. And now you can see on the top left, this Padlet is marked as a template. And from your Padlet dashboard, if you go back to your dashboard, and you'll see your templates there. So that's really easy. Awesome. Kelly says, I just started using Padlet as a weekly planner, and I just copy the whole Padlet and rename it. And I still have a lot of the posts from previous week, and I can delete posts if needed. So yeah, that's kind of what I was saying earlier about if you would rather copy the whole Padlet, that could work, but I'm working on better ways to do that. Awesome. There's still some more questions here. Let me just get through all of them. So Susan asks, on the all screen, when I open a Padlet, it moves to the top row on the upper left. How can I move it back to the previous position? So the all folder will basically show Padlets in order of when you've last accessed them. So there's not really a way to edit this. However, if you did want to make your Padlets more organized, that's where I would recommend using that bookmarks folder. The bookmarks folder will allow you to make more customized categories for how your Padlets are organized. I do think it's a good idea though, maybe to be able to drag Padlets around in the all folder. But right now it's just the most recent. Cool. Sandy has a question. Is there a way to set up the Padlet and then reveal parts bit by bit to students? Or does this relate to what you're doing with sections earlier and having specific links for sections? Would you be able to keep sharing different links, keep revealing different sections? So the best way to do that would be to schedule posts, which Yasmine showed a little bit earlier. So that clock arrow on the posting menu is how you can schedule posts. So what I would recommend doing is just setting the Padlet to allow access to whoever you want access to have access, but then scheduling these posts out so they'll appear on the Padlet when you want to. Thanks, Susan. Yes, drag and drop would be great. I have to order them in class and then textbook chapter. So yeah, Susan, I would recommend using folders for now, but hopefully we can add that feature soon. Awesome, Sandy. Glad you got the scheduled posts. Seeing a few questions here about different memberships levels. Yeah, so we offer a few different subscriptions. We offer individual subscriptions, gold and platinum. These subscriptions are great if it's just you using Padlet like by yourself. You don't have a lot of people you're collaborating with. If you find yourself working with the same small group of people within your company, then I would definitely recommend a team. A team is great for collaboration with a few individuals because you'll all have a shared dashboard. You'll all be working out of the same account. You can easily control who's in the account and who's not in the account. And Teams actually even allows you to add people to the account free of charge in a role where they can write on people's Padlets, but they won't be able to make their own Padlets. But then classroom and school accounts, those are our Padlet for Schools accounts. And that is really where we're building a lot of new features. So I recommend if you're using Padlet in the school, email us at memberships@padlet.com and our memberships team will be able to make sure that you're set up with the correct subscription for how your group is using Padlet. We're actually offering a lot of really great kind of pricing for these school accounts right now. So it's a great time to get started with Padlet and you'll be all set up for this upcoming school year, starting in the fall if we start that process now. So just email into hello@padlet.com or memberships@padlet.com. A few more questions here. So it was asked about how, Yasmine, you made the horizontal sections. So maybe if you could go to one of your Padlets or maybe even do a timeline Padlet, you could see. So timeline and grid are kind of more of the horizontal sections, whereas wall is more of the vertical sections. So that's really just about changing the format. Stream is just one section, but kind of, or multiple sections, but just one kind of row. There's a few different ways to add horizontal sections, but wall is vertical sections, and with stream, timeline, and grid, you can do some horizontal sections. Would it ever be possible to have bookmarks or clear sections in the archive? So bookmarks you can certainly do. Showed that a little bit earlier. Just from the bookmark section, you can create as many folders as you want and move Padlets into your folders. From the archive section, there's a few ways that you could clear the archive section within your Padlet account. So Yasmine doesn't really have any Padlets archived, but what you can do is either just click the three dots and you can either unarchive or you can just move to trash and that will remove the Padlet from the archive folder. So cool. I think that is all the questions I'm seeing. Okay, I do see one more question about PDF export. So that is something that currently there's a small bug with that we're working on. I do recommend just trying to export yourself. If you are running into issues with the export, just email us at hello@padlet.com, just hello@padlet.com, and our team will be able to help provide an exported Padlet for you. But there are quite a few export options, so I definitely recommend playing around with that from the share settings. And Yasmine right now is exporting as a PDF. So another kind of comment about the different plans about so there's definitely people sometimes could go for a few of these different plans can work. They're not it's not like one plan is going to work for everyone, or no one plan is not going to work for everyone. So but the way I like to think about it is, like, if you're in a school using Padlet with multiple people, then the school plan is going to be best for you. And then if you're using Padlet individually, then I would recommend looking at some of the other plans. But that's where our memberships team can help. So just reach out to us at memberships@padlet.com and make sure you're set up with the right subscription. One more question about the sheer size of the export. That's probably the issue. Exporting really big Padlets is causing a little bit of issue. So just send us an email, or if you would rather break your Padlet up a little bit into a few different Padlets and then export each one individually, you could probably do that as well. Awesome. Okay, back to you, Yasmine, to just wrap this up.
Thank you so much, Tosh. Lots of exciting information. So just a tiny bit more information on the different subscription plans. So Team and Classroom are pretty self-served. You can get an account directly from padlet.com. The way that it will look like is, if you look at my dashboard, I am part of a lot of different accounts. So I have my personal one, which is what you are using usually. And if you create a team or a classroom, it will just be a second icon that you see on the left panel. So very easy to set up. To set up a classroom or a team account, you can just go at the bottom of your left panel, click on plus, and we do offer a 1-month free trial for both of them. What is great about this is, let's say you are on your 13th day of the trial and you decide, I want to get this done, I want to subscribe, we will still give you the remainder of your trial for free. So your paid subscription will definitely start, in any case, after the 30 free days, the free 30 days. Perfect. With Classroom, you can add up to 9 teachers. Why 9? Because at 10 teachers, this is actually the breaking point with our school subscription. What I love about the school subscription, we have kind of a unique way to approach it. You can get access for all your teachers, all your students, but we only charge you for the number of active teachers you currently have. So we can work with you, like Tosh said, just email us at memberships@padlet.com. We can look at your usage, set up a demo if you'd like to see what a school account looks like, and then we can get you started. But so you'll only pay for who already uses it, teachers that use it, but you get access for everybody. We also provide and offer site licenses with volume discounts and multi-year subscriptions. The price is a bit different depending on your location, and we do provide invoicing and payment by checks, etc. So just email us at memberships@padlet.com and we will help you to get that set up. A couple more things, if I can steal a few minutes of your time. This is what I just mentioned. You can contact us specifically if you have problems with your account, not so much about different subscriptions. I would recommend to contact us at hello@padlet.com. Our team is available 24/7. We'll get right with you. You can also check our knowledge base. We try to update it as much as possible. It's available, if I'm not mistaken, in 27 different languages. We can count together, but you get the point. And then you can also watch the video tutorials, see the gallery. It's really, really useful. So this presentation that I've been using will be shared with you. So you can just click on the link or go to padlet.help and it will automatically match the language that you usually use on your computer. A couple more things after this session, or actually, Tosh, if you want to put the survey in the chat, we would love to have your opinion. We are just starting with these sessions, and we hope to do even more every week. So we really need your feedback to know, what are you interested in us showing you? Is there a specific theme that you want to do? Is there something that you would like for us to create? And also, how helpful was the session? Was there something that you would have preferred any other way? We really value your opinion. So feel free to complete the survey that we will put in the chat. Why not? I just saw that question looking at my screen. Why not use Padlet for the survey? That's a really good question. We actually thought about that, but more will be coming soon on that. And we will also share the recording with you. So anything that we've shared today, the presentation, the Padlet itself with the different links, everything that we've used will be shared with you. If for any reason you don't receive it, you now know it, hello@padlet.com. Okay, and wrapping up just on time. Thank you so much, everybody from all around the world for joining us today. It was really a pleasure to show you all the new features that we have. A lot more are coming this year, including multiple attachments per post, more security for a school subscription, and a lot more. You can find the information at, I think, right here in the What's Next. You can find more information on our new features coming this year. Thank you, everybody. Bye now.